Hi, my name is Jordan Mendoza, and this is Persuasive Speech number two. Just to let you know that this is a topic that is actually very sensitive to a lot of people, and that I'm just trying to raise awareness of this crisis. So, my objective is to inform you, the audience, about the mental health crisis in the United States. Mental health in the United States has actually been a growing crisis for the past few decades. So, start out, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like you are lost in a mental forest that have nowhere to go or no one to talk to? I know I have, but we are not alone in this struggle. Mental health has taken not a huge toll on not only adults, but also the youth of today. I have spent time researching the statistics of mental health issues in the United States, and the numbers are actually very alarming. So just imagine this. Imagine you're at a school, okay? And you look around and you see everybody laughing and smiling. Do you think that do you ever think that they're ever going to go through something that is emotionally draining to them? Have you ever sat at a table with your group of friends laughing and having a good time, but yet you still feel like you're alone? So today I'm going to tell you about adults who have mental health issues, youth who have mental health issues, the challenges some face to access mental health facilities, and how mental health can lead to substance abuse. So, according to a 2022 study by the Mental Health America, nearly 50 million or 19.86% of American adults experienced a mental health illness in 2019. 2.7% of adults with mental illnesses report an unmet need for treatment. This number has not declined since 2011. It's actually pretty crazy. It's actually increasing since 2011. 4.58% of adults report having serious thoughts of suicide. This number has actually increased every year since 2011 and 2012. The percentage of people ages 13 and up in the United States with PTSD is 5.7% with lifetime prevalence. So that's actually pretty crazy. And I'm actually part of that statistic as well. I've actually been diagnosed with depression and acute PTSD from working 7 years in law enforcement by a psychologist. So I can actually attest to these numbers. But that not only affects our adults, but also our youth. So, according to the Health America organization, the percentage of youth from ages 12 to 17 with major depression is 15.1%. That is the number of 3.7 million kids in our society that actually suffer from major depression. So, the youth of today has actually a major difference from the youth of our parents. Most of our parents have attempted or successfully persuaded us not to share our emotions or how we feel, and then this is kind of another issue when it comes to showing exactly what's going on in our heads. So, with major depression comes the ideation of thoughts of suicide. According to the National Alliance of Mental Illness, 11.3% of young adults from 18 to 25 have a prevalence of serious thoughts of suicide. Now, granted, we have all these kids who have these thoughts of suicide, but just to let you know, there's always help that's out there that you can lean on, and also resources that you can use to help you get out of this state of mind. But with all these mental health problems comes with another challenge: getting the care that everybody needs to help them out. So, according to the CDC, about 20% of children with mental, emotional, or behavioral disorders receive care from a specialized mental health care provider. Some families cannot find mental health in their area because there's actually a lack of providers. Some families actually have to travel a very long distance just to just to be placed on like long waits, which is really ridiculous, especially since we're in the middle of a crisis. So this not only affects our youth, but affects the adults as well. I actually have firsthand knowledge, experience in this. I was actually a crisis intervention officer at at the jail that I worked at, and I can tell you right now, I've had plenty of experience of talking to people with mental health issues such as depression or suicide, along with just not being mentally there. I actually have talked down inmates that wanted to jump off of the second tier of one of our cell blocks because he just wanted to either hurt himself or commit suicide. And I can tell you right now, that actually takes a lot of energy to try to talk down someone, and especially someone like myself that's having problems of my own. I mean, it's actually a very stressful thing, and especially whenever you're trying to get them the help that they need. For example, we had an inmate who was experiencing a mental health crisis, and we were trying to get him accepted into a facility, but we were not able to at that time because there was a very long wait list as far as accepting someone in there because there's not enough beds for them to house them at. So another thing is mental health facilities are a lot of mental health facilities are actually out of network for insurance company, and this it's also very costly for families. So actually, according to an article on Health Affairs, only 42.7% of psychiatrists and 19.3% of non-physician mental health care providers participating in any network on average. Planned networks included 24.3% of all primary care providers and 11.3% of all mental health care providers practicing in any given state level market. So that tells you right there that a lot of mental health providers are not getting on board with insurances because the psychiatrists also feel like they're not getting a good um, they're not being reimbursed for their services. So, with the lack of mental health providers and treatment, there's actually being a direct correlation of mental health and drug abuse. Many people in the United States have suffered with mental health issues, and that also comes with drug abuse. So, working in a jail, this is something that comes in every single day. Many of the people that I have actually seen being arrested for drugs has a mental health issue, and a lot of it actually has surprisingly has to do with depression and or peer pressure. So, according to PARC, Discovery Behavioral Health, people do drugs because they want self medicate. They want to self medicate physical or mental health pain relief. Experience freedom from feelings of anxiety, depression, and other mental health conditions, or actually simply just want to experience pleasure. There are many influences on the use of drugs, but mental health is a major factor in this. There needs to be more support for groups and resources to help people with drug problems. So all we really need to do is actually sit here and help each other. That is the best way to raise ourselves from the mental health crisis. And mental health has and will continue to be a crisis in the United States. There needs to be an urgency with lawmakers to help alleviate this crisis and bring awareness and resources to help. This affects everybody, not certain groups or people. If you need help or someone to talk to, there are people and resources out there that are trying their absolute best to reach out and give that hand to people who feel like they are drowning. Suicide is not an option when it comes to you. There is enough research and statistics that prove that you are not alone in this world. And again, if you're having issues with suicide, there's a suicide hotline out there that you can just Google, and that way you can get the help you need. Okay, you are not alone in this world, and and this is the mental health crisis.